Hey guys, I have some huge announcements. To start it off, I'm fired. I'm firing myself. I'm firing myself from my art business. And I know that might come as a shock to many of you, especially if you're seeing this on my art page. I do feel like I need to clarify what I mean by I'm firing myself and how this changes my business going forward. Since November of 2017, almost 4 years ago, I've been trying to build this art business. I have always known that I've been called to speak my truth and use my voice. And creating has kind of gotten in the way of that when I've been creating so much for other people. I love that. I do. I love creating for other people, but the season I think is over. Honestly, there have been a lot of successes, but for the most part, I've been pushing the wheel in the wrong direction for a while now. I have done everything in my power to protect my creativity so that it wouldn't feel like a stressful job or a burden. But unfortunately, that's exactly what it has become. If you listened to episode 1 of my Created Worthy podcast, you might remember hearing about the dangers of starting to hate what you create. I'm going to read this portion of my creative processing episode. I talk about how it can get a little confusing and can be especially hard for those of us who use our passions and creative abilities in our jobs. We have to make sure that we are working diligently to balance the time we spend creating for others with the time we spend creating for our own souls. Depending on the season of life that we are in, we need different amounts of time for creative processing for ourselves. If you're in a deep season of healing, try to pair that with a deep season of creating. When you're spending too much time in the stress zone while creating, you can actually cause yourself to start hating what you're creating. And that's a dangerous place to be in. Even if you don't start hating it, you may start to notice a distaste for the very thing you thought you loved. And it may start to be overwhelming by creating. To be completely honest, I've known for quite a long time that God was calling me away from being a professional artist. I've known that He had different plans, and I've also known through conversations with many of my well-respected friends and godly women who have spoken into my life that maybe God was leading me in a different direction. Still, with that, I secretly wanted, a miracle to occur. I wanted there to be a way for my art and my calling to merge and be this one big manageable business. But that's not what's happened. And I have to accept that. As you probably know, if you've met me or have heard anything that I've done, you know that creating will always be a part of me. It'll always be a part of my life. It'll always be something that I encourage you and other people to do because I believe in the power of creating. Creating in general has been a huge way for me to process and heal. I believe in it, but I cannot continue to create in a way that takes me away from being able to connect. And that's my intention in this season, is to be connected and to love and to inspire and to speak and to use my voice to share the truth that I believe God has put in my heart to share with you. In some ways, creating these tangible physical art pieces for other people or for myself have served as a physical reminder of my worth. And in some seasons, having that physical reminder is what I needed because everything else in life felt so worthless. This is a terrifying decision for me to make, and it's not an impulsive one. I've spent hours and months planning for this and trying to figure out exactly what the decision is that needed to be made. Obviously, letting go of the art side of my business is challenging emotionally, but it's also kind of a financial burden. I know that God will provide, but podcasting and writing, which is what I'm pivoting into more, provides no steady income at all. That's terrifying. My biggest source of income over the last few years has been my mountain table numbers, which I mostly sell on Etsy, but I also have been selling directly through Instagram and Facebook. I know that these are a highly desired item, and I love that I've been able to create literally thousands of them with only the help of a few close friends and family members. I simply cannot continue to dedicate the amount of time that they take to continue making, though. If God works something out and brings somebody into my life who wants to take over that process, I am more than willing to do that. I would love to see them in more events or really anywhere. They're such a cool piece, and I'm all about versatile creation. So the fact that you can use them as your wedding table numbers and then also give them as gifts or have them as a piece to decorate your house, since they have like custom names on them. Most of them have custom peak names or trail names on them. It's just so freaking cool to me. There have not been any realistic opportunities for me to take these off my plate. But that's where we're at with those. The next thing I want to talk to you about is my website. My website will continue being up. It's damrellcreativeco.com. It will be exactly what my company name states, a creative collective. In other words, it's a continually evolving page full of creative motivation. In addition to the Worthy collection, which there are still some stickers and prints available from that, I've got all kinds of resources for you. I've got crafting resources, Amazon lists, DIY home stuff. I've got hand-picked Spotify playlists that I have specifically crafted for different types of processing, whether you're processing heartbreak or you're processing loneliness or singleness or falling in love or having a family or needing community, whatever it is. I've got so many playlists, and they're all available directly from my website, also available on Spotify, that I've crafted just for you guys. Things that have helped me so much and I hope will help you. I've also got not all, but most of my retired designs on Society 6. So if you are interested in the Respect print or any of those first prints and designs that I've made, they're available on Society 6, and the Worthy collection stuff will also probably be available on Society 6 after it sells out. The next thing is my products. So I've always felt called to use my voice, obviously, and speak, and I always hope to continue creating as I process the season of life that I'm currently going through. If I can create in a way that can be turned into outsourceable products, then I will absolutely be doing that. What I'm thinking right now is that I will create some podcast merch, probably from quotes and things that I've heard and revelations that I've experienced over the last few months. And I have so many lists of just like pow quotes. I don't even know how to explain them. Things that I'm like, man, that hit me to the core. And I know that it would help other people too. So I don't have details right now, but the plan is to probably have sporadic postings of different designs that I make as I have time and as I'm processing. And there'll probably be like stickers and prints and stuff like that available that will be tied in directly to my podcast. I am so freaking excited. I know I've said that 100,000 times on this already, but I'm really, really excited that this season is allowing for me to have more space and time to spend with Jesus. I cannot wait for the things that he reveals to me and speaks to me, and all the ways that he leads me to continue creating through speaking and through writing or creating on my iPad. Who knows? But I know that there are messages that he's just waiting for me to listen to. And that's what I hope to do with my products in the future. I don't know. I have no date. It'll be, like I said, it'll be sporadic. There'll probably be some exclusive ones available on my Patreon, which I'll talk more about in a second. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the products. Lastly, with things that are changing in my business, custom orders. Custom orders have honestly been my favorite thing to create because it's such a gift to be able to take someone's idea and make it into a tangible piece. It's such a fun thing to do. But honestly, again, I just don't have the time or emotional energy to be creating in this way right now. So I'm not going to be taking any more custom orders. And yeah, but thank you to the hundreds of you that have made an order with me or have gotten a custom order. It has been such a blessing, and I will always, always cherish the memories of being able to create for you. And that's what's changing. Now let me tell you what's been going on and what's going to continue going on as I move forward. Apparently, I'm a ghostwriter and an editor, and over the last couple of months, my husband Gary and I have been editing a book that is gonna be so freaking cool. And guess what, you guys? It releases on November 9th. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. This is a book called Unleashing the Story Within, and it is a collaborative book written by 20 authors who are either pharmacists or healthcare professionals of some sort who are pivoting into the functional medicine space in order to create real healing in people's lives, to help them not just soothe the symptoms, but really get to those root causes so that people can live a healthy, well-balanced life. This book is headed up by Dr. Christine Manukin, who I've been doing a lot of work with over the last few months. She has been such a huge blessing, and she is leading this functional medicine revolution. I believe in what she's doing, and I'm just so excited. I'm going to continue creating for her for the next month or so in getting the graphics and stuff ready for the book launch. If you don't follow her, make sure that you do. Keep an eye out on her pages because I'm going to be creating some of her graphics and some sneak peeks into the book. Writing will definitely be a part of what I'm doing moving forward. To what extent, I don't know yet, but I know that it's something that I'm really called to do. It's just a real blessing to be able to, one, have this book coming out, but two, be able to really use a lot of the content that I've been writing and be able to pitch it to sponsors or other publications who can just help get the messages out that I feel I'm meant to share. This video really is meant to be my way of saying I'm choosing God's path over the one that I've been trying to create for myself. Today, my first priority is building a strong foundation with the Lord and with my family as we continue to try to grow our family. Next priority, connecting. Connecting has always brought so much light and life into my life, and I cannot wait to have more time and space to do this more authentically. If you haven't heard, my therapist, I love her. She is on maternity leave for the rest of the year. To me, that just serves as proof that God has a new season in mind for me. I realize that in the future, I will be going back to therapy and will probably be doing more deep work to unwind the things from the trauma. But for now, I'm stepping into a much lighter season, at least on that regard. I won't have to be twice a week hashing up all of the trauma from my childhood. And instead, I can use that time to pour into other people. And that is really, really, really cool to me. I know that God is preparing us and preparing me in my heart for walking through some other challenges in the present. So having this time where I'm not constantly reflecting on the past is a huge blessing in itself, even though it's scary, because my therapist has been my most consistent point of connection for the last almost 2 years. I've got to take some things off my plate, so goodbye art business. All I can say is I got to protect the dome, the dome. My mental health, my brain, all of the things. I've worked really, really hard to get to where I'm at. And stepping away from this side of my business is a way of protecting the dome. You might be asking, why does she feel the need to make this video or share this with us at all? And to be honest, I'm doing it more for me than for you. Let me explain. I'm a very black and white person, and the gray areas of life really freak me out, really freak me out. With that, you would think making decisions would come easily, but they really don't. They're really, really hard for me. And like most people, I feel more comfortable sticking to what I know. And since I've spent 4 years building this business, I know this business, but that's not what God wants for me. I do, however, feel like God has given me a really strong sense of self or conviction or conscience, whatever you want to call it. And it has been abundantly clear that a decision has needed to be made for a while. And now I have the strength and ability to make that. With that being said, I've just felt overwhelmingly called to share about this pivot in my life publicly. I can only hope that all of this that I feel He's calling me into will be a reflection of His grace and glory as I move forward into this new season. I've had a few people ask me how they could support us in this season, so I figured out a few different ways that you could support us. First of all, just by praying for us. On this very day that I'm recording, in just 30 minutes, I'm headed to my 3rd doctor's appointment this week, and this time it's for our very first fertility procedure. To say that I've been nervous about this would be an understatement. Never in a million years did I think that we would be going through all of this that we've been going through for the last 2.5 years to have a baby, especially because I got pregnant with my daughter when I was 19 on accident. So this has just been really, really hard for us. If this procedure doesn't work, we will likely have to start the process of IVF, which is very expensive and involves a lot of what ifs and a ton of hormones, which is especially terrifying to me since I've struggled with mental illness. I've had to fight really hard to get to where I'm at. And then you add trauma on top of it. Trusting God with this part of our lives has been really, really hard. So we're asking for prayers that God would protect our hearts, our family, and our marriage as we go through this. Another way you can support my mission going forward is to donate a small amount every month. You can choose the amount on Patreon. I haven't yet had the time to figure out all of the cool things that Patreon has to offer, but I will. And especially if you guys are willing to partner with me to directly support my mission and brand, I will be able to create more and more for you. Lastly, you can support us by donating to our family directly through PayPal or Venmo. This is really uncomfortable for me to talk about. I actually totally didn't want to do this part, but it is an option if you feel it in your heart to partner and just provide a donation. We would be so grateful. Infertility is not covered by insurance, and firing myself from my primary source of income just adds another financial burden. Look, I know that God will provide. I know that as long as we follow His lead, He will provide. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm sharing this message. That's why I'm making this video. I'm stepping out in faith, and I'm asking you to search your heart to see how He might be leading you to support us. If supporting us financially is an option for you, that would be amazing. But absolutely no pressure. No pressure at all. Please know that if all you can do right now is pray for us or send us good vibes, that is more than enough. You watching this and listening and taking the time to see this is a huge blessing, and it's something that I'll be eternally grateful for, no matter what. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I have been so supported over the last 4 years of this business, and I'm so grateful for each of you, and even the ones that I've never had the chance to meet. Thank you for following this page or liking my stuff. That means a lot to me. Every single like or follow is a blessing. I see it as a miracle. One more thing. I forgot to tell you that in this very room that I am recording in right now, this will be my new recording studio. We, as in me, is going to be building a full-on professional recording studio in our home as kind of a gift to myself for entering into this new season. And I'm hoping I can create a space for people who are local and who want to come record in person to have a comfortable, cute, boho chic space. I'm gonna paint this wall really cool. Actually, I'm probably gonna do a lot of really cool things in here, so stay tuned. But just so excited to announce that we're gonna even have a full-on professional recording studio, hopefully within the next month. Pretend it's not there. Cute! Without further ado, I guess, cheers. Cheers to a new season. Cheers to new opportunities for connection and purpose-filled inspiration and encouragement. Thank you guys. Have a good day.